Welcome back to our channel, where we provide updates and undisclosed narratives on Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. We provide you with the exciting news Princess Anne drops, a royal bombshell over Princess Diana's true love that shocked King Charles. This news from Princess Anne regarding Diana's real love upsets the very foundations of royal history and points to a guy who is nowhere near the palace gates. A new piece of information about the heart of Diana, Princess of Wales, has sent shock waves across royal circles and sparked interest among historians. This is one of the most lasting mysteries of the contemporary monarchy. This find has shocked everyone from historians to those in the royal family. There were two men who defined Diana's love life for many years: her rocky marriage to Prince Charles, the heir to the throne, and her final high-profile engagement to the film magnate Dodi Fed. Both of these individuals were the main characters in the story. But a fresh confession that has secretly been linked to the famously stoic Princess Anne has changed this story, showing that the world has been looking at it the wrong way all along. Sources close to the royal family say that Princess Anne, in a rare moment of honesty, said that the man Diana really loved was neither the prince she married nor the millionaire she died with. This information came out at a time of unusual honesty. The person in issue was someone else entirely, a persona who kept in the shadows, far away from the flashbulbs and headlines that characterized Diana's existence. Allegedly, Anne informed a close friend, it wasn't Charles, and it definitely wasn't Dodi. She loved a man who was not well known to the world. He gave her a sense of peace that she had never felt before. This shocking news has sparked a renewed interest in Diana's private life. It points directly to a two-year relationship that many people have long thought was the most essential and real of her years after her divorce. Dr. Hashnat Khan, a highly discreet and skilled British-Pakistani cardiothoracic surgeon, was the focus of this investigation. Their romance has primarily been a footnote in the long and terrible history of the people's princess. They had a secret love affair far away from the gilded cage of royalty. The alleged comments made by Princess Anne not only add a new layer to an already well-known incident, but they also totally change the remaining few years of Diana's life. They show that her highly publicized summer with Dodi Fide was not the start of a new love, but maybe a sad and desperate echo of a love she had already lost. Because of this revelation, we had to leave the palaces and the paparazzi behind and head inside the calm, clean halls of a London hospital. There, a princess who wanted a normal existence met a guy who didn't care about her title, but about the woman who was hiding beneath the crown. The unexpected meeting, a hospital visit that changed everything. The story doesn't start with a royal dance or a state dinner. Instead, it begins at the Royal Barrington Hospital in London, where the hospital is located. It was the month of April 1995. The Princess of Wales was with Prince Charles on a regular philanthropic event. She had just broken up with him and was trying to figure out how to live a life that was half in and half out of the monarchy. She was there to comfort a friend whose husband was recovering from major heart surgery. Cameras followed her as they normally did, and they caught the well-crafted image of compassion and responsibility that she was. Destiny, on the other hand, got in the way somewhere between the smell of antiseptic and the calm murmurs of the doctors. The hospital's administration formally presented her to Dr. Hashnat Khan, who is known to be one of the best cardiac surgeons at the hospital. She had never been around him before. Khan didn't appear to care at all that the royal family was in front of him. He wore basic medical scrubs, and his face showed how exhausted he was after working a long, hard shift. There was just a polite nod, no fawning or bowing down to the person. When asked to talk about his work for the visiting princess, he respectfully said no. He stated in a serious but not rude voice, "My patient needs me more than royal courtesy right now." Then he left to do his duties. I'm sorry for any trouble this may cause. Diana, a woman whose entire life was a drama set up for other people, found this little act of resistance thrilling. She had found someone who didn't want anything from her in a world where everyone wanted something from her. Whether it was a picture, a quote, or a little part of her royal beauty, he thought it was more essential to take care of a patient than to meet the most famous woman in the world. She was quite interested after seeing that one unexpected moment of honesty. Later that night, when the media circus had packed up and left, something very strange happened. Diana returned to the hospital after getting rid of her public persona. She was able to slip in without being identified as the Princess of Wales because she was inspired by a little sense of human connection. She found Dr. Khan in the basic quiet hospital cafeteria. It was a world of coffee that had been heated up and sandwiches from vending machines. It was quite different from the beautiful china at Kensington Palace. That night, their conversation was genuine and easy without the fake smiles and rehearsed politeness that marked her public life. He didn't talk about society or titles. Instead, he spoke about his life, how he got from Pakistan to London, and how much he loved medicine, especially touching people's hearts. Diana listened carefully, and then she laughed. It was such a natural and free laugh that even Diana was surprised. "You haven't asked me about my marriage or my divorce," she said with a trace of surprise in her voice. "In other words, you are treating me like a normal person." Khan smiled, but it was evident that he was tired. "You are, aren't you?" Her answer was kind, but it had the weight of 15 years of being in the public eye. "I haven't been able to act that way in a long time." The talk didn't end until 2:00 in the morning. The surgeon and the princess, who were from two very different worlds, discovered a deep, echoing loneliness that haunts people who are under a lot of stress. They learned that they were connected and that they shared a sense of purpose. Khan told her, "I became a doctor so that I could heal people." "How did you become a princess?" "In the clean air," she muttered. "I didn't." And the confession hung in the air, she added. "I was born into the wrong fairy tale." After that night, they began to bond, and they kept it a secret for a long time. The way they spoke to each other was a work of art in how delicate it was. Diana, the most wanted woman in the world, wore wigs, simple clothes, and sunglasses to meet him so she could practice hiding. She would sneak into the hospital via the back gates or meet him for private dinners at restaurants that were hidden away in the wings to avoid being found out. She wasn't seeking for a flashy or high-status job for the first time since she was a youngster. She was looking for peace. She also found it in Hasnat Khan, a love that is kept hidden in the shadows, Mr. Wonderful, and the search for keeping things normal. Diana lived a double life for the next 2 years of her marriage. During the day, she was a passionate supporter of charitable causes and a loving mother to 2 children who would one day become kings. At night, she was just Diana, a woman full of love. After a while, her close friends like her butler Paul Burrell and her confidant Simone Simmons would tell her how much she loved him. She called Khan Mr. Wonderful and said he was her soulmate, the one person who made her feel grounded. The everyday moments that she had been denied for so long were the foundation of their secret world. She would go to his small Chelsea apartment, which only had 1 bedroom, and enjoy doing the chores of washing dishes and cleaning up. These were activities that brought her closer to the reality she longed for. While he was unburdening himself from the life and death stresses of his job, she would wait for him to come back from his long 36-hour shifts, either with a meal she had made or just ready to listen to him explain his situation. A nurse at the Royal Barumpton noticed Diana bringing food to the staff room late at night. The nurse jokingly told Diana, "Ma'am, you don't have to feed the doctor." Diana's response was warm and sincere. "I would like to." People who saw them together said they were very close and easy to be with without any rules or pretense. Diana's usual guardedness disappeared when she was with Khan. She was free to be vulnerable, curious, and even silly. Khan, on the other hand, was calm and steady. He was principled and fiercely protective of his own little world. He didn't see her as a fragile symbol, but as a woman who was smart, sensitive, and had a lot of depth. "You save lives," she told him once when she was impressed by his job. He said softly, "You heal hearts too." A simple comment that meant more to Diana than any royal flattery she could have ever dreamed. This romance had a profound effect on her. Her interest in medicine grew to the point that she devoured literature on heart surgery in an effort to have a deeper comprehension of his world. She started learning about the Quran and expanding her knowledge of Pakistani culture, and she did it with an open heart toward his origin. She had a fantasy of a future with him, a life in which her purpose was not determined by a title, but rather by the love that they had and the work that they did together. It has been said that Princess Anne, who is known for being a perceptive and practical spectator of the royal drama, saw this metamorphosis in her sister-in-law. The genuineness of this connection was acknowledged by Anne, who often had a quiet, if complicated, understanding with Diana about the difficulties that come with living up to royal standards. Later on, a close friend of Anne's made the following observation. The Princess Royal saw that Diana had found a rare kind of love, one that was built on mutual respect rather than titles. It was not the crown that captivated him, rather, it was the lady. Yes, it was the secret. Diana's silent love for Prince Charles gave her a new sense of purpose, especially after their divorce was official in 1996. While everyone was guessing what she would do next, she was secretly making arrangements to spend her life with Khan. It was a life that required a choice that no one could possibly make, the unimaginable dream, a possible life in Pakistan, and a choice that will break your heart. It was late summer 1995, and the air over Hyde Park at night was full of things that people weren't talking about. Two people were observed strolling next to each other in the dark. One of them was hiding behind a simple scarf, while the other was lost in a dream that was both beautiful and terrible. When she was alone in a public park, Diana, Princess of Wales, had the guts to speak up against the unthinkable. Her love for Hasnat Khan has grown to be the most important thing in her life. Her world of fake spectacle and constant inspection was quite different from his world of medicine, which was based on honesty and quiet resolve. She regarded him as more than just a companion. She saw him as a way out and a way to live a life that was important to her. That night she went to him because she couldn't stop the hope that was rising within her. There was so much passion in her voice that it shook. Yet there was also a sense of desperation. What would happen if I gave away everything? She whispered. This life, the title, and the palace, she added. What if I decided to go with you? Khan stopped moving and looked like he couldn't believe what he saw. His expression showed both amazement and profound sadness. Diana, you can't be serious. I am, she responded, looking like she was pleading. I'm sick and tired of being stuck in this gilded cage. We might go to Pakistan. I could work at your hospital helping patients and their families. I could have a simple life. Finally, I could be myself. The words came out of her mouth, a dream that she had obviously been practicing in the privacy of her own thoughts for a number of months. The expression on Khan's face changed not because he was angry, but because of the excruciating weight of truth. The touch he gave her was delicate yet forceful. When he seized her hands, when he said, "You are not just Diana," his voice was heavy. Your son will one day become King of England, and you are his mother. You can't avoid this situation. You would never be able to leave this realm because I took you away from your boys and your mission. You would eventually start to hate me. As her eyes filled with tears, she shook her head. My goal in life is to be happy. What about your sons? He said in a quiet voice, which was a subtle but unavoidable checkmate. You are the one that William and Harry rely on the most. By disappearing from the world, you are not making things better. Your strength is your platform, your voice, and your voice alone. The whole weight of their impossible situation was crushing down on them, and you could hear a little break in his voice as he spoke. After that, there was a deep and unbroken silence. At that moment, Diana realized that his love for her was the kind that makes sacrifices for the other person's happiness. He was protecting her, not rejecting her. He was protecting her from the terrible things that would happen if a princess went against her duty and left her children for love. But love should be enough, she said in a quiet voice as her final desperate plea. She could feel the sorrow in Khan's eyes, which was a mirror of her own. Diana, there are times when love requires you to let go. She was going to continue to be bothered by the remarks. Over the course of subsequent months, Diana made a courageous move to close the gap that existed between their respective worlds. In May of 1996, she flew to Pakistan on a covert trip by herself. She said that she was going there on a philanthropic mission, but in reality, she was going to see Khan's family in Lahore when she arrived there. Not his mother was the target of her efforts to earn her approval by demonstrating that she was genuine and prepared to conform to the traditional and conservative customs of the family. During that time period, there were rumors that Khan's family was enchanted by her willingness to be humble and her real kindness. She sat on the floor for a considerable amount of time sipping tea and in conversation with them. Reportedly, his mother would remark on things like, "She is lovely," but she would also say things like, "This is not going to work." That is an excessively large gap between the two cultures, that the world would never leave her alone was confirmation of his greatest fears, and it was a confirmation that was subtle but powerful. Nothing in the world could ever make her feel alone. Despite the fact that there was a feverish endeavor to gamble on the Mediterranean, the miscalculation that was made was fatal. When the summer of 1997 arrived, the hidden relationship had been subjected to such a great deal of pressure that it was no longer able to withstand it. Due to the fact that Khan was a very private person, he was unable to tolerate the persistent risk of being exposed to the general public. He was under the impression that the worst thing that could happen to him was to live a life in which his every action was being observed and his family was being harassed by cameras. Because he believed that their love story would have a tragic conclusion, he started to distance himself from them. On the other side, Diana was not prepared to extend her hand to give back. In an attempt to demonstrate that their love could endure the scrutiny of the public or even to coerce him into marrying her, she made a choice that would ultimately turn out to be terrible and fatal. Following receipt of the invitation, she consented to spend the summer of that year on board the yacht belonging to Muhammad Ali, which was located in the south of France, together with his son Dodi. At the time, Diana was wearing a bikini and smiling in the warm sun of the Mediterranean while standing on the diving board of the Jonal. The photographs that were taken became renowned. The news media went absolutely crazy all over the world, reporting that the lonely princess had at long last found love with a rich and gorgeous guy. A whirlwind romance took place in every single country on the planet. People who were closest to Diana, such as Princess Anne, had a totally different perspective on what was going on, as has been stated up until this point. On the other hand, the situation was quite different. They saw it as a desperate and well-planned wager on their chance. It was not that Diana was falling in love with Dodi Fide. Rather, she was attempting to convey a message to Hashnat Khan by the way that she appeared. She expressed her concerns to a friend. "If he sees me with someone else, maybe he'll realize that he can't live without me. Maybe he'll be so jealous of me that he'll want to fight me." When it came to judgment, the error was quite significant. According to Khan, who placed the utmost importance on privacy and discretion, Diana's public exhibition with Dodi was not a call to action. When it occurred, it was a treacherous act. His reaction was one of full and utter amazement when the photographs of her kissing Dodi appeared on the front pages of the newspaper. As a result of her actions, she converted their private altercation into a public display, which was precisely what he had always dreaded would occur. According to reports, their last phone chat was filled with a great deal of suffering and confusion. It was in a voice that was filled with rage that he spoke to her, saying, "You're using him to get to me without making any sound. It would be inappropriate for you to publicly express your affection for me if you actually loved me." As Diana came to the realization that she had made a mistake, she had the sensation of being struck by a tremendous weight. All of her efforts to repair their relationship had only served to make matters more difficult. As soon as she reached the end of the call that evening, she was certain that something deep inside her had been permanently damaged. She referred to the individual as Mr. Wonderful, and he served as the anchor that helped her bring her chaotic life under control. Away he had gone. A final farewell and a new legacy are the consequences inherent in the decision. During the last weeks of her life, Diana never stopped smiling for the cameras. Her public connection with Dodi Fide started to develop in a manner that was similar to the conclusion of a major play. However, those who were familiar with her were able to see the truth in her gaze. The sheen had disappeared, and in its stead came a dreary and enduring melancholy. When Diana realized that even the deepest and most sincere love she had ever had could not escape the shadow of her crown, she felt a sense of devastation that she had never experienced before. It is believed that she made her last attempt to get in touch with Hasnat Khan on the evening of August 30th, 1997. The fatal accident that took place in Paris took place just a few hours before this event took place. Because he had lately changed his phone number in order to escape the media intrusion that had gotten increasingly severe surrounding her, he did not get a response to his original phone number. In the early morning hours of August 31st, Dr. Khan was making his rounds at the hospital when he received the news of her passing. According to witnesses, he was so depressed that he collapsed to the ground and uttered her name over and over again. At Westminster Abbey, where there were 200 mourners, he attended her funeral in a low-key manner hidden among the visitors. He seemed to be the only one there wearing a black suit and sunglasses, and his face revealed the suffering that he was experiencing in his private life. Over the course of many years, Hasnat Khan chose to remain quiet out of respect for his family and declined financial incentives to tell his tale. He went back to his work of healing hearts, but the memory of the lady he loved and lost left a scar on his own heart. He was still unable to move completely. The official inquest into her death, which took place in 2008, was the first time that he publicly expressed his feelings for her. He expressed how much they loved each other and how a regular life together would have been difficult due to the continuous pressure from the media. The most recent remarks made by Princess Anne signify a definitive conclusion to this covert history. The people who were closest to Diana have always maintained that the greatest love of her life was not a prince or a playboy, but rather a modest doctor who loved her for who she was and not for what she was perceived to be. It is her perspective, which is from inside the stoic heart of the royal family, that lends support to what they have consistently said. It was not so much that her disclosure altered the course of history as it was that it added to it. It demonstrated to us that the symbol was really a genuine lady who desired nothing more than a love that was unrestricted and not complicated. The most genuine love story that Diana ever had was neither the fairy tale that turned out to be a fairy tale, nor was it the summer fling that ended in disastrous circumstances. It was the narrative that was spoken in hushed tones in the corridors of the hospital and lived in small moments of normality. It was the sad and silent story of a princess who discovered her soulmate only to find out that her destiny would never allow her to retain him. It seems that the guy that Diana loved the most was the one who she would never be able to have in her life. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts and goodbye for now.